elite executive senior sales director, Barbara Harrison, achieved the Fab 50s Club. She has been honored by our sister sales director when she received the monthly Go Give Award for January 2005. Now that's the highest honor in Mary Kay. She has made 22 appearances in the unit circles, including 6 times in the $500,000 Circle of Achievement. She's qualified for 6 top sales director trips, and her highest monthly commission check so far is over $13,000. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a member of the Ruby Go Give Area Independent Elite Executive Senior Sales Director, Barbara Harrison.
My greatest mentor and role model. This 50th anniversary, the staff is doing everything they can do to make it amazing for us. The national sales directors are going to be on it. But the real joy of seminar for the consultants and the staff is the number of winners there. And if you want to do something to honor Mary Kay for this 50th anniversary, it's all about being big these next 100 days. I'm talking about getting rid of self-doubt, self-sabotage, and going big. Are you with me? So are you all loving the This Girl Is on Fire song? Okay, throughout the next few minutes, every once in a while, I'm going to say to you, I'm talking about you, this is you, because, and you're going to sing to me, This Girl Is on Fire! Okay, let's do it again, even like twice the volume. That was good, but more. This girl is on fire! Okay, this girl is you. So right now, choose to give up self-doubt. Just until June 30th. July 1, if you want to doubt yourself again, you can. But until June 30th, you are getting rid of doubt. Who would you be if you got rid of doubt for 100 days? We're going to talk for the next few minutes about calling out your greatness, claiming your dream, and committing to whatever it takes. There's a TV show called Elementary that's a story of Sherlock Holmes set in the present day, and he is training Watson, his assistant, who is a woman, and he's training her on how to be a world-class detective. And one day as they're sitting there training, she says to him, oh, I didn't get that, and I didn't get that, I just don't know if I can do this. And he says, Watson, I find self-doubt so tedious. Go to your room and doubt yourself and come back when you're ready to think. Do you love that? So here's what we're going to do. Every time that you feel self-doubt, you're going to go, boring, and you're going to be ready to think. So do it with me right now. Boring. That is not you, because this girl is on fire. You are on fire. So you are going to call out your greatness. Call out your greatness. On a Friday, January 12th, during rush hour in Washington, D.C., in a metro station of the subway, a young man in blue jeans, long hair, and a baseball cap opened up a violin case and started to play for 45 minutes. And 1,097 people walked past this young man as he played his violin for 45 minutes. And little did they know, as they walked by this violinist, that they were listening to perhaps the world's greatest violinist, a world-class classical musician, Joshua Bell, playing a $3.5 million Stradivarius violin. Joshua Bell commanded the night before over $100 per ticket at the Boston Symphony Hall. And that day, as he had his violin case open on the subway floor, 6 people stopped to listen to him for a minute, and he made $27. He was playing the world's most powerfully and difficult to play music by Bach. You have greatness already in you. You're just playing it in a subway station if you're not yet where you want to be. It's time to claim, call out your greatness. greatness. It's time to move up to Symphony Hall. It's time to get rid of self-doubt and be the person that God called you to be. Do you know that you are 1 in a million? No, actually, do you know that you are 1 in 36 billion? Let that soak in a minute. The chances of you being formed by your mother and your father out of all the different children they could have created is 1 in 36 billion. If you go back a generation or two and the chances of that grandparent with that one forming your parents who formed you, it is statistically impossible for you to have been born. You already beat out 36 million people to get here. So the moment you were born, God had 36 billion choices, and he said, no, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. You already are a superstar. You just don't know all the people who never got to where you got. Call out your greatness. Stop playing in the subway. And then claim your dream. What is your dream? You are here for a reason. Even if you came as a brand new consultant. How many of you are new consultants this past year? This is your first career conference. Would you give these women a You bring an energy and an excitement to us because we do get used to what Mary Kay gives us. And you remind us, this is the most amazing place on earth to be. And I am so proud of you for making the commitment. And because you are here, you are going to call out your greatness this year. It's a foregone conclusion, but it is time to claim your dream. My first year when I came to career conference, I'd been a consultant for 1 week. I didn't know anybody I was driving with or anybody I was rooming with. My director told me I had to come. I was scared to death. And I remember thinking, everybody in the room knows each other except for me. Anybody felt that way? I would see women running across the whole auditorium to hug each other, and then I found out they saw each other last night at their unit meeting. I thought they hadn't seen each other in years. And I remember thinking to myself, will there ever be a day when I know people in Mary Kay, or when people know me? You see, everybody starts at the same place, but it's time to claim your dream. What does your dream look like? Maybe you've been in Mary Kay for a while, and you had a dream at one point, but because things haven't happened in the timetable that you wanted them to, or thought they should, you've given up on your dream. It is time to claim your dream. It's a foregone conclusion that you are 1 in 36 billion. Claim your greatness and claim your dream. Go back to what it was that moved your heart in the beginning. When I started my Mary Kay business, my 3 children were small. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was scared to death when I started. But I saw these national sales directors, and I so wanted to be that kind of woman. And I wrote myself a letter to read when I was 50. Telling myself what kind of a woman I wanted to be, and that I wanted to be like the national sales directors. And that I wanted to be somebody who knew who I was, who didn't keep changing my mind every time somebody said no to me or hurt my feelings or I got scared. I wanted to be solid and centered. And this career, if you continue to grow and be transformed, is what gives you the opportunity to become that woman. And then you can claim your dreams. Today, one of my 2 greatest fans for my Mary Kay business for the longest time are my husband and my daughter, and they're both here with me today. Would you 2 both stand and just wave? And one of my dreams when I started was to someday be able to take Craig on one of those trips. And I so remember, every trip was fabulous, but I remember, I can only tell you one quick moment. The night we went into Rome, it was the most amazing trip. We just fell in love with Rome. And on the last night, we had the farewell dinner in this palace, this castle, this white marble, beautiful location. And there were rose petals sprinkled all the way up these wide marble staircases with candles on every single step going up to the entrance. And then inside, you could smell the pink roses from outside the villa. And the inside was just full of pink roses everywhere you looked. And we had this beautiful, elegant dinner like something you'd see in Style magazine. And then after the dinner, an orchestra played for us. And there was a spiral staircase over on the top, and so Craig and I climbed the spiral staircase to go up on the roof, and you had a 360 view of Rome. And we were the only 2 up there for a few minutes on that rooftop, and the orchestra started to play What a Wonderful Life. And Craig took me in his arms, and we danced on the roof of a villa in Rome, looking out over all of Rome. And we always say, apart from the times we've had with our 3 kids, our moments in our marriage have been brought to us thanks Mary Kay. Trips that we never could have imagined, experiences that you can't buy no matter how much money you have. Thank you to Mary Kay. And that dream is not just for some, that dream is for everyone who dares to work for it. Mary Kay always said that success in Mary Kay is not for the extraordinary woman, it's for the ordinary woman with extraordinary determination. Claim your dream. My dream now is to join my sister national sales directors. I told them I just want to stay in the pit. I just want to sit in the pit. I just want to sit in the pit with the national sales directors. And I have the most fabulous future area. My directors, I love you so much. I love your support and your dream and your dedication and what you're working towards. In my unit, you put us in this position of number 2. It is not a one-person event, but it's because of the work that you did. And to the consultants in my directors' units, I know you are stepping out in faith, and I know you don't know yet if you can do it, but I say, call out your greatness and claim your dream, because you deserve to be on that 50th anniversary stage, being celebrated by Mary Kay as a new national area. Could I have my unit in my national area, future national area, please stand for a big round of applause. Wrote an interesting book just a couple weeks ago. It came out that Bridget talked about last night. It's getting a lot of buzz about why women don't succeed in corporate America, how few do on the really high-end levels. And she talks about how it's not fair. There's not the opportunities for us there, but also how in some ways we hold ourselves back. And she said that we are too meek and apologetic. Too meek and apologetic. And so part of it is just that we have to be willing to stand up and say what we want. Claim your dream. But she also says that some women just aren't willing to pay the price of what it takes to stay there. And in a review written about this book, the reviewer said, "We find now that it is true that women can have a high-powered, successful career and children. What they can't have is balance." Don't they need to know about Mary Kay? And she said that of the graduating MBAs of the year that she graduated, 25 years later, 92% of the males are employed in high-ranking positions. Only 60% of the women are, not because they're not capable, but because they weren't willing to pay the price. And she said every decade, 10% of women with MBAs are leaving the workforce because they say, I can't have the life that I want to have and be have the career that I want to have. So she says women need to stand out and say what they want and go after their dream. And you know, my daughter is here, and she was one of my cheerleaders from day one. She was 3 or 4 when I started my Mary Kay business. And she always was excited about my goals. And one time I said to her, honey, how come you get so excited every time that I reach a new goal? And she was probably 7 or 8 at the time, and she said, because Mom, I always think, if you can do that, maybe someday I can live my dreams and I can reach my goals. And she just graduated with 2 masters, her MBA and her master's of leadership. And she was one of my whys, she and my 2 kids. And now my daughter-in-law, Carissa, is a Mary Kay sales director. And I made Craig drive it because I wanted to watch him and the 3 kids drive it, so I drove the old one home, watching him drive along the freeway because I wanted to see the car. And my 3 kids were waving in the back window to me. And a couple of months ago, Craig and I had the honor of going with Ryan and Carissa and our 2 darling grandchildren to pick up their free Mary Kay car. And this time, I drove their car home so they could drive their Mary Kay car with my granddaughter waving goodbye to me and my son in the passenger seat. That is a thrill. The other night, my granddaughter said to me, she calls me Nah for Nana, she said, Nah, where's your Mary Kay car? And I said, well, your mom drove it, now we trade cars. Carissa says it's because of the car seats, so we don't have to move them, but she drives a Cadillac. And she said, now, where's your car? And I said, well, your mommy drove my car. And she said, oh, you got mommy's car? And I said, oh, she said, you got mommy's Mary Kay car. And I said, yeah, she calls it the Mary Kay car, Mary Kay car. And then she said to me, now, can I have a Mary Kay car when I grow up? And I said, yes, honey, you absolutely can, if that's what you want. Claim your dreams. Claim your dreams. Call out your greatness and claim your dreams. And then commit to whatever it takes. Deb Erickson, life coach and business coach, says there's 3 levels of commitment. I want you to write these down. 3 levels of commitment. The first level is I'll try. How many of you have been there? I'm really going to try. I'll try. If somebody tells you they're going to try to come over for dinner, do you count on having them? No. I'll try actually stimulates the fear part of your brain. Because your brain says, uh-oh, this sounds like danger, this sounds like a threat, this sounds like something bad could happen, this sounds like I could be embarrassed or humiliated. And so you actually stir up fear whenever you have the thought, I'll try. The second level of commitment is, I'll give it my best. Now that sounds better. The problem with I'll give it my best is that your brain will only let you do what you've already done. And the thing about going after a big goal is you will not stay the same woman. You will be transformed. You will leave your best in the dust. And if you only do your best, you can only do what you've already done. You are going to go way beyond your best. You don't even know how much beyond it you're going to go when you go for something big. The third level is called whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Now that doesn't mean sacrificing your family or your faith or your integrity. We know that Mary Kay said to never do that. Whatever it takes is saying, I will take responsibility for this goal. I will face my fears. I will do what it takes. I will talk to enough people to get to where I want to go. I will not make somebody else responsible for this goal. I will not put it on somebody else. I will do whatever it takes to get there. And do you know what's interesting? They've done tests on the brain. When you say, I'll do whatever it takes, it actually stimulates the pleasure part of your brain that gets excited. So we think, if I'm scared saying I'll try, how much worse is it if I throw my heart over the line and say I'll do whatever it takes? Actually, it's the opposite. Everything is easier as soon as you say whatever it takes. Everything is easier as soon as you say whatever it takes. And you are a whatever it takes kind of woman because this girl is on fire! Yes, she is. The Brooklyn Bridge is one of the wonders of American architect. And it was developed before steel was used. And to get from Manhattan to Brooklyn, the bridge had to be 50%, twice as long as any standing bridge in the 1870s. And the man who came up with the plan for it was John Roebling. And he had this vision for the longest suspension bridge in the world before anybody thought it was possible. But only he understood the plan and what it would take to build this bridge. Shortly after they started construction, he was injured. And he had an amputation because of an injury working on the bridge and developed an infection and was dying. And he passed along the plan to his 32-year-old son, Washington. And shortly after that, Washington was under the water too long, got compression sickness, and was completely paralyzed and couldn't speak. And his wife, Emily, and he designed a plan where he could show her the instructions just by tapping his finger on her hand. And for 11 years, he passed the plan on to Emily. She studied, went to school so she could understand what he was telling her, and the Brooklyn Bridge was completed. If he would have said, I'll try, do you think that Brooklyn Bridge would be there? Do you know that it's one of the only standing bridges that was created in that time span? Most of the other bridges have not withstood. And when it was studied, after they really understood the aerodynamics of suspension bridges, and they thought, uh-oh, we better find out how strong it is. In fact, when it first came out, people didn't believe that it was going to be strong enough to take them all the way across the river. And so P.T. Barnum took his prize elephant, Jumbo, and 22 elephants and went across the bridge to prove to people that it was safe to drive their cars across the Brooklyn Bridge. Do you think if he'd said, you know what, I'm going to do my best. I'm really going to do my best. Would you want to drive across that bridge? Do you know that when they studied the bridge in the early 1900s, after they found out the aerodynamics of creating suspension bridges, they found that John Roebling's plan made the bridge 6 times stronger than it needed to be. 6 times stronger than a steel bridge would have needed to be created today. Because he said, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes gets to the pleasure part of your brain. Whatever it takes is where you were meant to be. You were meant to call out your greatness. You were meant to claim your dream. God made you 1 in 36 billion. The day you were born, you are a miracle. You had a 0% chance of ever being called into existence. Don't you think if God chose you out of 36 billion, it was for something amazing? Don't you think He is all about you giving up self-doubt and claiming your dreams, speaking up for what you want? And don't you think He is honored when you have the not I'll try or I'll give it my best, but that whatever it takes, whatever it takes. And when you are that kind of a woman, when you are like John in Washington Roebling, you will build something not just that makes the minimum, but that flourishes, that is 6 times more powerful than what it has to be. Because you are a woman who does whatever it takes. Because you are